Alright, I am at Bristol here in career mode. If I can get all the slow traffic out of my way and get a clean racetrack here, I'm going to lay down a decent lap, I hope. I'm going to try to lay down something in the 15.7 range. I have ran a 15.7 flat with this setup. I really wanted to get that extra little bit of speed and say that I ran a 15.6, but I absolutely could not do it after many attempts. But I still think 15.7 is a pretty decent lap. That is about 2/10 off of 10th place on the leaderboard. So given my level of talent, if I'm a couple of tenths off of 10th place on the leaderboard, I will certainly take it and be happy with that. I'd like to get a 15.7 something on video here, and then we'll talk about the line I am running and show the setup. I think that you can run a lot of different lines at Bristol. I'm kind of a fan of running the bottom. I don't mind if I push up in the corner, but I do like to make sure that I am kind of low on exit. There is a 15.780, so I'm going to take that. You can probably hear on the video kind of what I am doing as far as the throttle and everything. I like to lift probably about where the back of the car is. I don't use any brake. I do try to turn the wheel, set the car into the corner, and really not turn it much beyond that. If you drift up in the corner, I don't think it's a big deal, but like I said before, I think being low on exit is a big benefit. The turns here are symmetrical, so whatever you're doing turn 1, you can do turn 2 or 3 and 4 as well. Probably about here is where I'm starting to lift going into the corner, about this Uno sign. And again, same concept, you don't brake, you just lift, turn the wheel, let the car settle. If it drifts up in the middle, not a big deal, and then get back on the throttle when you want to exit, and try to be low on exit. So with that being said, let's go to the garage and talk about this setup.
Looking outside now.
Let's see, we're not at the garage yet. On this setup, not a whole lot that's really crazy here. The bump and rebound settings are pretty standard. That I think that a right beat rebound, that there I was doing to try to get the car to turn on exit. I know I bumped up the left bump to try to get it to turn on entry a little bit, but nothing real radical there. This is kind of odd for me. I've got the front weight and the wedge right about 50%. Usually I am either down, 49 to 49 and a half, or I'm up above 51, but that's what seemed to work here. The springs, I went a little softer on the rear springs. I think the thing you fight at Bristol is spinning out, coming off the turns and getting loose. So the lower springs help that. Just as a general statement, lower rear springs or softer rear springs make the car tighter, and higher ones make it looser, but that's a general statement. If you were to move them both the same way, you can move one up and one down to adjust for tight and loose, and I've got separate videos that actually show that. I went with a pretty stiff front sway bar. It just seems like that helps at Bristol, because you don't have to you don't want the car rolling over. You want the energy of the car turning, and you've got all that banking to help you. So I went with a pretty stiff sway bar. I think the track bars are close to the default settings actually. I went with a really high wheel lock. This is more like what you see running dirt cars, but it seemed to give you more stability at Bristol because you weren't jerking the wheel around as much. Final statement, the rear end ratio. I fooled around with this all over the place. I felt like a 471 was a little low. I felt like a 486 or 471 was a little too tall. I felt like I was a little sluggish off the corner. The 486 was a little too short for me, and I was hitting the rev limiter and felt like I was not getting all the speed I could at the end of the straightaway. I even fooled around with 3 gear setups, but just couldn't find anything I was comfortable with. Finally came back to the 471, but you may want to try a 486, or you might even want to go down to a 463, just depending on what works for you. I think if you run a higher line than I do, you definitely want the 471 or even a 463, which is the next one down. If you run a really low line all the time, and you want a little more drive off the corners, definitely go with the 4.86. But anyway, enough of me babbling about gear ratios. I want to say thank you guys for the support. I hope you guys like this video. I am over 800 subscribers now. So that is tremendous. Thank you guys so much for the support. It means so much to me. Appreciate all the thumbs up and all the positive feedback I'm getting on these videos. So please keep it going. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will end this video.